about that.
It's showtime.
Welcome to the YatCast. This episode is about presidential power and presidential immunity. But first, I would like to give thanks to all my real-life and social media friends who forced me to delve deeper into things to find the underlying cause. They forced me to determine why things are or are not. They forced me to think about things in a way to see what could be or what cannot be. So, let's get started. The year is 2019. Donald Trump has been in office for 2 years and 9 months. He is currently undergoing the impeachment process. I covered impeachment in episode 9. You should review it before continuing. However, to summarize, the President, Vice President, federal judges, and others shall be impeached for anything from bad behavior through any crime up to and including treason. In my lifetime, there has been 3 impeachments started. Nixon in the 1970s, Clinton in the 1990s, and Trump is going through it right now. Nixon resigned instead of going through the process. Clinton was impeached but acquitted. Trump? We will see what happens. Through the current impeachment process, if your eyes are open, you should be having fantastic civics lessons. It doesn't matter if you support him or you don't. You should pay attention. Okay, let's get into it. The office of the President is limited by the Constitution and by any additional powers that the legislative branch deems it needs to fulfill its duties. To put it simply, the President's authority extends to protecting the people's rights, enforcement of U.S. laws, acting as our interface with the rest of the world, defending the Constitution and related documents, and being the Commander-in-Chief when our forces are called to action. Article 2 of the Constitution defines the presidency. Section 1 states what the office is, who can hold the office, the ways that a president is selected, and remuneration. It also includes the oath, which is as follows. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Sections 2 and 3 are about the duties and responsibilities of the President. Section 4 is about impeachment, which I covered in episode 9. Back in the 1970s, President Nixon was being investigated for impeachment. Charges approved by the House Judiciary Committee include lying to Congress and the people of the United States, misusing various departments and agencies to further his personal and political objectives, using the promise of presidential pardons for the silence of or perjury by witnesses. There are many other charges. Throughout it all, he kept up the claim that the president could do nothing illegal because whatever the president did was inherently legal. Hear it for yourself.
Well, when the president does it, that means that it is not illegal. By definition. Exactly.
Each and every one of the charges that were being brought against Nixon were impeachable offenses, including lying to U.S. citizens, using various departments and agencies for personal purpose is a violation of the oath of office. Oaths were held sacrosanct by our founding fathers. They required the president to be of the highest moral character as defined through the word misdemeanor, which also means bad behavior. If you don't know this, watch episode 9 on impeachment, where I deconstruct Article 2, Section 4, and then re-roll it using definitions from the time period. When Nixon declared, "But when the president does it, that means it is not illegal," he is declaring that the president is above the law. This is in direct conflict with our first right of equality, Article 2, Sections 2 and 3, and the oath of office. It dishonors our founding fathers and the brave men, women, and children who died to free us from the tyranny of one who was above the law. Impeachment is about whether or not the president is of good moral character and whether or not they uphold the laws and the Constitution. So here we are in 2019, and the president is undergoing the impeachment process. As of this webcast, we don't know what the charges will be. In 1973, the Department of Justice concluded, quote, "The indictment or criminal prosecution of a sitting president would unconstitutionally undermine the capacity of the executive branch to perform its constitutionally assigned functions," close quote. This guidance goes against what the Founding Fathers said when they said, "All men are created equal." It means that a president could commit murder in front of a crowd, and as long as he is president, he cannot be charged. I concur and disagree. I think there's a reasonable line where the president can be protected if it is a frivolous seeming lawsuit or crime. We don't need the president to be distracted by things like jaywalking, which is a misdemeanor. However, above that line, there should be no protection. Something to think about. If the president, be they Republican or Democrat or other, suddenly decides and really goes hog wild on the president is above the law bit, and it's upheld by the court system, then the president could declare that there will be no more elections. And who's going to stop them? Because they're above the law. They're above the Constitution. Think about it. The current president has stated and implied through his own voice, his cabinet members, and his supporters that he is immune to the Constitution and laws of this country. He claims that the impeachment process going on is illegal. He even claims it is unconstitutional. It is neither. It isn't even immoral. Now, for the purposes of fulfilling his duties, the president has been granted sweeping powers. That only applies to fulfilling his duties. For example, the president has the power of prosecutorial discretion. This means that he can direct more focus into certain areas and less in others. It does not absolve him of his duty to enforce all laws. The last president, President Obama, used this to establish DACA, which is delayed action for childhood arrivals, and focus on those immigrants that have violated more serious laws. I have looked again and again and see no constitutional basis, either direct, indirect, or implied, that grants the President of the United States of America unlimited power or unlimited protection. To sum it up, the President has broad powers to perform his duties, which are defined in the Constitution, but his power is not unlimited. In certain cases, the President does have some immunity, but according to the Constitution, that would be very limited. Thank you for spending some time with me, and I'll see you at the next YatCast. Are you enjoying the YatCast? Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/YatCast. That's https://www.patreon.com/YatCast.